such a great ETC player. They've been targeting him in his hero pool. It would be so anti-meta to first pick ETC, but in this series, I feel like it makes sense. You've taken it away from Tempest. You're great at playing it yourself. And I think that would be wise. You do give away both Shimano brothers. Not going to do it, but I think this is a Blaze ETC rotation again. Not as strong on this map as it was on Towers of Doom, but still fairly strong here for the rotations between mid and bot lane.
I think already from Hanzo, especially because of nerf, you really get that power spike later on when you have the Pierce at 16. Ooh, not going for that same rotation though this time as Genji's open. You're willing to take with the brand new skin.
It's very fancy. Yeah.
Blaze. And that's where Wiz has been losing a lot of his strength because of the wave clear. He was also forced to go for the late rotation even with the Haka. I think we have to see something different coming out from Wiz, the solo lane tonight.
Well, let us see how BlossoM follows this one up. It could take the ETC still. It can also ban it if that's the flavor they're feeling going into this next rotation of bans. But we're also looking for where does Uther fall here. You could take Uther away here right now with a Grey main. And you've locked in both your DPSs. Again, you're worried about Gondar's tank pool, but you've at least secured yourself a solid composition in terms of damage. You've removed the Uther from Genji. It's a great counter to Genji. They compromise. Take Uther away still, but also give Gondar one of his favorite tanks. It's 100% this would have been a Garrosh ban if it was not picked. So kind of a half and half play here from BlossoM, but I like it.
Yep, and also they can go into their own support choke because they banned Malfurion from the first one. Also makes good amount of sense to bring that Garrosh for Gondar, who has been having one of the worst days tonight against Tempest because he was losing his heroes all the time. But with that Garrosh, it's going to provide some solid play on Dragonshire.
Yeah. Hyde looks unenthused. He's like,
why did I ban 0-2 last game?
I was hoping they were going to leave Uther open. I wanted to allow some Dragon Blades to happen.
You would be happy with a Rehgar. Like you can go for the camp times. He plays lots of Rehgar anyhow.
The Malthael ban is interesting because obviously Malthael could really dominate the lane against Blaze. Or Falstad, if they end up putting the Falstad up there, it could be an awkward matchup for both sides depending on how it's played. But they banned the Malthael, which means that BlossoM would have amazing wave clear with the Tychus. They take it. Ooh, this is a great ban. I really like this. This goes back to game 2. Didn't work out for them obviously at the end of the day, but I think this is still smart. But what BlossoM picks for wave clear on the bot lane is going to be really exciting to me. I think even a Gul'dan pick is strong here. Can do a lot with Horrify against a Dragon Blade and the very aggressive style of Blaze. ETC I think is a no-brainer for Tempest now, and it's been how they controlled every early game so far. And you know, not to mention late game team fights with the stage dive.
Can still continue with this one.
The stage dives we're seeing in this series remind me of Scroll's stage dives in BlizzCon 2016 finals, where of course there's a Taiwanese player I'm talking about, but it was used basically for zoning and also for stopping retreats very fantastically, and that's what Sign is showing us tonight. All eyes on Sign right now, even the camera, as he's discussing potential options here. It is going to be the ETC and the Jaina. So that's going to give him a lot of wave clear and burst. Getting to Hanzo, though, with the strong frontliner Garrosh isn't going to be easy.
That has been the para many times for Tempest. When they have Genji, they usually bring some kind of burst mage. And oftentimes it was Jaina, sometimes Kalthas. And this time it's going to be Jaina. It's going to be easier for her to position with lots of the front lines available for her. Even Hanzo should be careful for all the pokes. Now it's going to be a lot tougher from the burst damage for Garrosh to even step further into the lane. It's going to be a tough choice when Genji can always swift strike in and get the kill and go out.
I feel like they need... I think they need Dahaka. It has to be Dahaka to pressure the top lane. They're going to have a tough time against the double CC from Blaze ETC. Go figure, you know, surprise, surprise, they picked it again. Who would have thought? Dahaka can at least mitigate that because Tempest doesn't have the Falstad this time. There's the Dahaka. and Greymane's going to be there for the wave clear. I thought we might see Gul'dan just simply because he's so strong against Genji and the aggressive forward diving style of the frontliners plays in ETC. But Greymane's great for wave clear too, and he's also especially good against Jaina. So if he can get into a position where he can catch Jaina, if Dahaka does a good brush stock, gets a grab, or Garrosh gets a toss, there's a lot of things that can go wrong.
Perfect. The silence, along with the CC pair, will guarantee them at least a single kill when they are fighting in those small choke points. That's exactly what they're looking for, and Genji will have tons of fun with that Dragon Blade.
I think that this early game is going to be hell for BlossoM. They are going to really struggle. Once the Shrine comes online, and we could see a little bit of contention from Dahaka, for example, versus Blaze, who's not really going to necessarily be spending all of his time in the top lane. In fact, we might even have solo lane ETC for quite a while in this game, I think. We'll see how it plays out, but once the Shrines come online, obviously there could be a lot done with Dahaka. He struggled on Towers of Doom, Sky Temple, to find a pick because the protection from Sign and Good was always there. They were always in position to kind of punish that type of play. But I think that BlossoM's main objective should be in the early game just to play safe. If for example, Tempest is going to try to take the neutral Night Camp, you just let them have it, because as we saw in the last game, if you try to fight over these camps against the ETC Blaze, you're going to have a bad time.
Yep, that's exactly what they're trying to do. They're trying to punish the rotation, camp timings. I think Tempest is the one that's going to look for invade instead. Let's see how BlossoM wants to go for their own rotation. There's a silence starting off. That's paired it even with one CC coming out from Blaze, either Blaze or Sign.
Oh man, if the silence wasn't on cooldown, that might have actually been a kill.
Very close to it.
Yeah. So, they're just going to use this wave clear to... I mean, Jaina's basically going to use her Cone of Cold on cooldown to help clear these waves. And then they're going to rotate and try to terrorize BlossoM. So I was talking about in the early game, it's going to be hell for them. They have to play safe. Even Gondar needs to be careful trying to get stacks. Oh, see you later. He might very well be dead here. There's a silence. Okay, not enough to kill him with the armor. In fact, ETC will go down to the turret. But, you know, the idea here, though, is still very scary for BlossoM. The armor, plus Uther's armor, is really strong, so he gets his one stack and actually they get a pick with the toss.
Yeah. Very nice with Gondar. Almost a bait of himself going in with the armor. So Dami was hesitating for a slight second there because he knew that armor might not even get a kill. So he went in a second too late. By that time, Sign was dying inside. So that's what happened in that skirmish.
Camp's taken at the exact same time for both teams. Dahaka trying to soak a little bit mid here. Wiz is coming in, but we'll definitely need to be careful about going forward any further than he has. It's going to be the Sunshine controlled for BlossoM, as Blaze is kind of up there alone. Garrosh rotating up. This is a really risky spot for Good right now, but we'll see if the rest of the team gets there in time. Dami coming through here. Spell armor on both sides here in this Venn diagram as well, so that makes it such a crazy fight that we're watching. Silence coming down to Modern Life. And it looks like this is going to be a pretty neutral fight with the wave clear for Tempest, though. They just barely went out. They were able to stop the Unleash in mid. And, you know, when the dust settles, it's pretty even. Oh, although as soon as I say that, Lockdown does get picked. Can they make it a trade? I don't think so. Sign's coming in. Can he get that power slide? It's perfect. They need to get a pick here. Nasong will go down. Oh, they're just going to eat these heals. Get some stacks. He's getting body blocked here. Gets a toss off. 15 armor at the moment, and he will eventually go down here. 44 armor going to help him stay alive for a little bit longer, but...
the entire team is on to chase.
Oh my god. Shurikens actually heal him when he has that 50 armor. Alright, so... fairly even trade in terms of the fight. Both the solo lanes here, Wizbot and Good Top, are pushing the cannon towers at the moment. So this is the closest game we've had so far. We're only 3 minutes into it, but BlossoM is holding their own.
Yeah, 2-2 Gondar's Garrosh surviving for such a long time, especially when Jaina dies. that is going to be the best time for Gondar to survive, because lots of the skill damage, basic attack damage from the rest of the team except for Jaina, I think Gondar is going to be happy to take all those damage.
Yeah, I mean, think about the auto attacks of Genji, ETC, Stukov. Like, these are not concerns. Oh, knocking him right back into the maximum duration of that silence. Will, of course, escape because of the reasons you just mentioned. But that was still really well done. If it were any other hero, it'd be dead. Okay, we do have an unleashed potential here for Team Tempest. Sign here, looking for a good power slide on the retreat, right into the Blizzard and the silence. Will they burst down Garrosh this time? So he looks for the heal. He does finally go down here. Lockdown gets dragged, but the power slide, or sorry, the face melt will save him for a while until Scatter Arrow comes out. And this is actually going to be a one trade for Team BlossoM. Look at that second pick. Will tie up the talents, and because Nosang is here in mid, Dami's too low, they are going to prevent the unleash.
They bought a good amount of time. Even if Gondar dies, he buys a lot of time. I mean, he eats all the skill shots from all 4 or 5 players of Tempest, and that's doing his job already.
Yeah, if this were a Hero League, like, he would have the shiny portrait, because, you know, that a lot of the time when you play tank, like, if you take a lot of damage, it's always like, it's all flashy and on fire. It's like, wow, he tanked a lot of damage. Like, whoa, it gets all flashy. That would be him right now.
That's what I feel all the time. Like, what did he do? But he's on fire for some reason.
Yeah.
From like level 3 and stuff.
Exactly.
That's what Gondar is right
That's
now.
what he would be if we're in Hero League.
Cancelled.
Cancelled here for just a second. That's just enough time. I really like that they take the neutral camp during this. They pushed mid, and the neutral camp here is going to make it so easy to hold on to this shrine. There's an opportunity now for BlossoM to unleash, because the wizard is actually staying alive. They actually continue to heal the wizard so that the rest of the minions get that spell armor here. This is buying so much time. Unfortunately, they're not able to capitalize on it. Dami coming into the back line here will get pushed away. Interesting deflect timing there to try to stop the scatter arrows. By the way, it was announced Scatter Arrow is going to get removed from Overwatch. Feels weird when we have 2 Overwatch heroes that get changed in Overwatch, that like their identities and heroes will be a little bit weird with D.Va not having missiles.
Is it going to be the same in Heroes then?
Well, it didn't happen to D.Va, man. She still doesn't have missiles in Heroes. They need to add that ASAP, man.
Oh, let's see.
She needs to get higher tier. That's what we need.
Still pretty high in NA.
Yeah, that's true. Let's ask Roll 20, man. Don't ask Tempest about that one.
Yes. Especially Tempest. Warhead Junction? Oh, never mind. That's not even in the pool anymore.
Ah, Warhead Junction.
Good times.
Depending on who you ask.
Well, low time for both teams. Now they have Taunt, which is even greater, but better against Genji.
Yeah.
But Jaina has been having a very tough time in this game against Garrosh. Even more CC available now, and also ETC against Garrosh. It's very tough to actually power slide in and out. There's that isolation and secures the kill. Perfect CC combo there.
Okay, that was where'd that arrow going?
Random arrow flying by.
Was that Sergeant Hammer like EFG, or Dami's gonna narrowly escape death here? They got a pick, but I don't know if they can really capitalize on it. Look at the top lane. Like, this time they don't have a camp to take neutral, but they could have invaded to steal Siege Giants. They're a bit slow on that, and if they try to do it now, they're going to be... I just think it's a terrible idea. So they get a kill, but they lose top wall, and they're losing a lot of damage to the fort. They took a slight experience lead, but they didn't gain anything from it. In fact, they didn't even get their own camp very quickly here. So, capitalization on the first time they got those picks to control the shrines and push the bot was really smart, but and to get the, obviously, night camp. But this time they don't really get anything from that kill on the ETC. In fact, I feel like they kind of lost more than they gained with that top push.
And now with that stage dive, I think they have more than enough. Actually, a better tool than the Haka. They have been trying to bring Garrosh down in lots of ways. Maybe this is their time to do it. There's a taunt, and that's
Dragon
gonna be a
Blade.
kill.
Here comes the follow-up stage dive as well for the slow here. Wiz does get caught and killed. That's 2 deaths for BlossoM, and an already pretty disastrous situation. This may be the first Dragon Knight of the game. See Jaina rotating up top. Not even going to deal with that minion wave, wants to go straight to the Dragon Knight. Greymane's coming up there, so Modern Life going to try to challenge this, but this is a risky situation with ETC as well. I think actually Modern Life barely gets the kill, but I don't know if he gets out alive. If Sign body blocks correctly, he's already used his power slide. Looks like he will Oh, well, maybe I spoke to some good. Stun connects. Okay. There's the Dragon Knight I was talking about. Good idea to send Greymane up there, but just outmanned.
Oh, good use to play lots of Greymane also. So knew exactly what he was going to do. The jukes were not even close to bring him back to life there. He had no escape.
I feel like even if Lockdown had like waited one more second, knowing what was going to happen, might have even been able to survive. But the end result is they get the Dragon Knight. So this game is, for the first time, really going to be a massive lead for Tempest. You know, it's been a pretty even game. All things considered, especially with BlossoM getting a lot of kills, just not capitalizing as well as they could have. But now Tempest is going to take a whole level lead, going to get a structural advantage here. Look at the commitment to actually try to gank Dahaka right now, even coming to the stage dive. Wiz is dead. Gondar going to get shoved away here, and they're just going to walk out safely.
Did you see something flying by?
No, wait, what do you mean?
No.
Wait, what?
I saw a giant arrow flying by randomly.
Oh yeah, no, I try to ignore it.
Hanzo's not even close to the team fight.
Well, I mean, you know, when you're desperate, you gotta shoot these arrows out. But wasn't gonna be enough in this case. Okay, not enough. Dudu, it's a lot of damage there, but will survive. And now this Nightcap should belong to Tempest.
There's the shove, and Gondar cannot find an escape.
Divine Shield. It's going to actually live for a long time, but Bunker just going to counteract all of this. Gondar gets stunned. Dragon Blade going to get enough burst to finish off Garrosh here. Finally, there's the second kill for Dami. Even though ETC died, just too much damage here. They can't live through it. That Bunker, again, was just so well placed, so well timed. It's a dead fort as even the Water Elemental gets involved. So 2 forts down now for BlossoM. This game is starting to get out of their hands with the Nightcap that they could have taken earlier. They got the kills instead. Now they're going to take it.
Now it becomes really hard for BlossoM to make their rotation. They have been punished so many times for even Dahaka stepping over, not even stepping over the fort line, as he was alone in solo lane. Well, he thought he was alone. There's the stage dive, the utility from the entire team of Tempest. They have so much CC, the silence. Even Dahaka, even Garrosh dies to that.
Yeah. Look at the push now. Like, they're just going to grab the siege camp and then try to cut off anybody who comes down here. And just like we saw in Sky Temple, with the spell armor reduction from the wizard and the siege giants super far at the back, you can't really easily deal with this. Even with Hanzo and Greymane on your team, it takes so long to clear with the cocktails coming through. And this is just an easy way to get a free keep wall, maybe some picks if somebody messes up, and there you go. Hanzo's dead. Bunker here for the big push. This is going to be a keep, and right afterwards maybe a Dragon Knight. Could be more. Here's the stage dive. Another silence from Good. This is nearly a team wipe, G-Clef.
He doesn't even need the mosh pit. What they need is more damage, and that's why he picked stage dive along with the CC. They have the pair, and they're going to end the game here. Going for that core. There's a CC again.
Oh man, silence perfectly placed there. No burrow. Not that it would have helped him at all in this situation. This is going to be game. I said it might be a Dragon Knight. Not going to be required, G-Clef. Not going to be necessary. Will he get another kill here? Dragon Blade going to help secure that one. Modern Life is down. Hanzo's respawn, but he's going to sit in the Hall of Storms.
Dashing, even that. I think that's almost full stack redemption, but doesn't even matter. But because he died.
That's right. And there you go. Going to be the 3-0 score for Tempest. We thought this was going to be perhaps a closer one with the two innovators of this tournament facing off against each other, but sadly, it was not to be.
Very sad. The last arrow could have been the first one to hit the actual target, but stopped because the core blew up and BlossoM not really having their day. Though Gondar's Garrosh looked fantastic, was punishing ETC lots of the time. That 1v1 in tank line 2 was pretty tough for ETC. Garrosh oftentimes wins that too, and he was doing fine. But even with that, they're happy because they are very likely going to that Eastern Clash as a 4th spot from Korea.
Yeah, actually with the 3-0 here, I think they are guaranteed in 1st place, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, no one can pass them. They have a 7-0 score in sets now, so.
Yeah, even for BlossoM, they're in 4th place, unless Luck does something crazy against Ballistics in match 2.
I think even if that happens, they still don't pass them. I did the math on this morning. I don't have it written down in front of me, but I was in the good old Wikipedia.
Yeah, that's not even possible.
Yeah, I was doing those stats, but So all the spots are secured, but it's about Ballistics versus KSV for the second place, which is why KSV's match, tomorrow and Ballistics match today really matter, because that could create some shuffle there, because it's not guaranteed who's going to get second or third. And like I said at the beginning of the broadcast, that kind of determines where the teams will face off against Tempest, because Tempest is the highest seed, right? So if you're second seed, you avoid them more than the third, and then of course the fourth will face them first in terms of Korea versus Korea in the bracket. So you want to stay away from Tempest right now, the undefeated team. So that second, third place spot matters. You'll face them eventually, assuming Tempest continues to win, but you get that extra little gap.
Yep, they got that 7-0, the first perfect one from Korea for Tempest. It was usually Ballistics, or back then MVP Black. Tempest was always the third one, sometimes in second place, but always ended up being the third place spot after those two teams. Now they're standing with the perfect score after defeating KSP from the day one, #1.
Yeah.
And then even Ballistics, they are unstoppable right now. May even go into Eastern Clash and destroy the entire Asian region.
Sure. I mean, it's definitely possible. When we saw Tempest defeat KSB at the beginning, we thought, okay, might have been a fluke. Their strategies are pretty cool.
The very
I like what
first
they were
day.
thinking. Yeah. And then they just kept winning everything. So it's been a pretty crazy ride. Like, Tempest has never had an undefeated season before, and this obviously is just the first part.